I use, but it's more fun to call it Zed because that's what I hear the Canadians do. And, you know, no offense to Canadians, but sometimes it's fun to use the way they say things. But anyway, we are underway. Let's see what we get in these chests here. We have an herb and wings. So we have a chance to warp out of here with a key. It's one of the advantages of starting out with wings.
Ooh, free key.
Yep, absolutely. Unfortunately, with the key, you can do a few things. We see Xarnax is just going straight out to the world. They're going to try to take down a Match Drake. Asmadi is going to give us a treasury check here in just a moment.
Gonna save first, gets those extra 3 chests put in as well. So has a chance at maybe duplicating something if there's possibility of something in the basement.
Right, and Xarnax looks... Oh, he just missed on the Magic Drake. Unfortunately, was not able to take it out. But that's fine. He'll end up going back to the king here and saving all that time walking into the castle. Meanwhile, Asmadi has found an herb, another herb. Looks like there's an herb garden here in the treasury. A cursed belt, a cursed herb garden, and some gold. So have to keep track of that gold marker, and we'll see if he keeps going or if he throws that resets and keeps that key for now.
Xarnax is going to try the basement first. See what he finds in there.
It is interesting that Asmadi is going on. He might be trying to find a town or something really quick to spend that money on to see if it's worth keeping. Xarnax has found, I believe that's mountain or tablet, but I can't tell exactly what he's trying to do right now.
Could be grave as well, maybe?
Now, I'd bet money that's tablet because it looks like he's probably trying to access a map.
Yep, definitely tablet.
I had a feeling that's what that delay was for. Asmadi resets, has decided to save the key, which I think is what we would more commonly see played here, and then finds a town immediately.
So depending on the town and what's there, it may be better to go back, reset again, grab the gold. Well, you don't have to reset if you save the key, I guess.
True, and if you can get hand axe money, that's probably worth it. And Xarnax resetting out of... I didn't even see what the tablet result was, but it obviously couldn't have been much if he just flipped out.
'Twas the Death Necklace, which is 1,200 gold, but, you know.
Oh, well, I guess there's no reason to get that right now unless you just want to preemptively sell it, but that's a little bit of a risky move.
Well, it depends on what he finds out here. Oh, resetting again. Lots of resets.
There's always this consideration. Do resets count as deaths? But if you die and reset right afterward, or if you reset right before you die, how does that count? I kind of feel like any reset should just count as a death.
I guess it depends on the tracker. Usually the resets at the start I don't, but later on in the game I do. Synth is counting them as deaths. It doesn't really matter. It's all for fun.
Okay, yeah, Asmadi technically died one spot before that cave he was going to, so he did technically die, so it does count 100%.
Seems no one wants to stay close to home and find the easy enemies.
Alright, looking like Asmadi found North Swamp and is noping out of that quickly.
Oh, Xarnax proving me wrong here.
Well, it took him a while to get there. He's already struggled with one Magic Drake. I don't think he wants to do another, but I don't know. Maybe we'll get lucky and we'll get to see another fight till there's no hit points left fight like there was a moment ago. So yeah, this would be the rare seed where we're 4.5 minutes in and neither player has any experience.
Blame Synth.
Wait, I think Xarnax is gonna get that Drakey. Oh, it has heal. How unfortunate.
Of course it does. There we
And
go. Should get it now.
Yeah, scorpions have hurt more. That's not pleasant. But there we go. 3 experience. We have experience. We have gold. Seed has officially started, as long as he doesn't reset out of this.
Not even enough gold for a bamboo pole.
Asmadi seems to have had enough with the starting zone and is just getting the money. Now, the thing to add with this, like, he got 742. That's a pretty good roll on that chest. But he also has 180 gold in that cursed belt, which you can sell pretty easily in Cantlin.
Yep, a cursed belt is worth exactly a copper sword.
Alright, and Xarnax learns that metal scorpions have sleep. Thank you for sharing that knowledge with us. And AsmadiGames buys some clothes, hiding that shame, and looks like he's going in for some fairy water. He does not like the start and wants to utilize the liquid hurt.
Yeah, fairy water is a good thing to use against the magic drake. He should one-shot most of them.
We'll definitely jumpstart this seed. If we're able to find another key before too long, it won't really matter either. So he gets a club. Unfortunately, no copper sword and no hand axe available, but that's something, again, even with just a club, that might be enough to do in one of those guys. And grabs a small shield for good measure.
Xarnax runs into the Armored Knight, the Armored Knight, AK-47, and finds out it has Stop Spell, which is great for later on, but right now,
Yeah, it's AK-47, one of the hardest enemies to run from in the game, with 12 agility. The Armored Knight has 86. That doesn't really put you at good odds for much of anything. Yeah, we may have to come back to this moment where both players really tested out their options and have chosen different paths, where Asmadi decided to forsake the key to help out this early grind, where Xarnax has not yet. And it looks like he's still hoping to find like another Drakey or something that can help him at least get the 2. Level 2 could be something great, and then all of these decisions might not matter.
You know, Asmadi did pick up the club, and therefore is able to one-shot the Drakey on times, bypassing the heal. So we'll get level 2 now after this kill. Oh.
Yeah, well, it took us 7.5 minutes to get the level 2, but the runners are definitely, well, Asmadi, I should say, has been rewarded with hurt more.
Oh no!
And has to reset, because with the cursed belt, you were cursed, and the only way to get rid of that curse is to go to Breckenary. Otherwise, you get kicked out of the castle with no healing whatsoever. And that's pretty hard to overcome. And now he's choosing not to get this stuff in the treasury.
Whoops.
So now Xarnax is, I think he just hit level 2, so he gets the hurt more. I don't think he's even checked it yet, though, so he's probably just looking around the map and figures he'll get it at some point.
Can't use it right now anyway, doesn't have enough MP, so it'll probably take a death later on and get his MP back.
Right, but that's definitely good access for Xarnax. That's when you can start playing the game now. I think this is where I'd be looking around for some swamp to just take a header into, get it over with, and start zapping everything. But it looks like Asmadi might get this Drakey without the heal pain, so he's right back at level 2, and this time did not hit the treasury, so he still has that key.
There's always a reason to sell a curse belt. And Synth is right there. He knows what's in level 2, so he didn't need to go buy the stuff right away. Oh, look at that power on level 3. 4. 3 and 4? Yeah, he must have got 2 levels there.
Yeah, because it said he got a spell, and we don't see a spell at 3, so I must have clipped it. Oh, and it's Radiant, which, if he had known, he could be seeing down here, but who cares about that?
Wyvern certainly doesn't, especially with Hurtmore.
Tell you what, though, that was a good find for Xarnax. Might just go straight back into that area, kill a Wyvern or two, die, go back, just get a few more, get some stats. That's a pretty good experience enemy for what we've seen so far. Asmadi following suit, nuking a Metal Scorpion and jumping straight to 4. Alright, well, Wyverns that ambush you with sleep, I guess, make that less appealing.
Yup. Maybe a different enemy is needed.
Well, Asmadi's trying on the Metal Scorpion, but it also has sleep. So that's, even though it's a little bit worse on the experience, it's not much better as far as ease to kill.
Suddenly that Armored Knight is actually looking pretty tempting with Stop Spell.
Yeah, I mean, 33 hit points, you're not a favorite to survive one hit, but Stop Spell, you know, if it decides to waste a round and it fails, there you go.
Xarnax deciding to stay around the Drakeys and the Druins and maybe get another level that way first.
Well, Asmadi takes out another Scorpion, gets to level 5, learns Repel, a few stat gains. I think 7 agility was the big one out of there. 7 more MP, so it's another Hurtmore cast once he replenishes that.
Yeah, and Hurtmore is what you want right now. With no decently priced weapons anywhere. Well, not worth getting, I guess. Hurtmore is going to be your wasted level.
Yeah, until you get some MP right now, it's just all about find something good to kill and make sure you use all your MP before you die, and then just rinse and repeat.
Yeah, if you stay close, you can refill your MP in Tantagel and just grab it and go again.
Yeah, true. That'd be a good way if you want to get some of that equipment. Asmadi's been pretty familiar with the shops that we have currently and knows that there's some decent cheap stuff, but there's a pretty big gap between the low-level stuff and the more expensive things.
Okay, Xarnax is gonna grab a key here, go down, open the treasury, grab another key or 2 from his gold, and then maybe go down for a Death Necklace again? Maybe?
There's no rush on that. We don't even know if it's necessary for the seed, so I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see him touch it at all. But he can max out on keys, and if he wants, he can just do a couple loops here, get some gold, and get some decent equipment if he thinks that's necessary. Fortunately, Asmadi runs into the Armored Knight, tries to run, and as you might guess, does not get away.
Xarnax gonna set it to explore, see what he can find.
Yeah, there's no rush for him to hit that gold, too. He can just run out, die, go right back to the king, jump in there, get some more gold. No real loss at all. And then again, I don't think he's checked the shops too thoroughly, so there's still that shot at he might check in for a hand axe or something like that. Although we know there's nothing. Well, we haven't seen what's inside the key-locked Cantlin shop yet, but so maybe.
We have a mountain cave over on AsmadiGames side. So far has found a Drakey and a Scorpion. Not too bad. We'll see what else is in here in a second. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, that suddenly turned foul, and both of our runners going back to Tantagel kind of simultaneously there.
Xarnax headed in the same direction, might find Mountain Cave shortly. It's in a swamp just to the north.
Yep, there's nothing in the south or east, so he's pretty much funneled in that direction. Oh, wait, there's a red dragon. That's, with Hurtmore. I guess that's better than what it normally does.
Everything knows Hurtmore in the seed, including us.
Xarnax is just really looking for something to end his misery here, and nothing is showing up, despite being in a swamp.
Ah, Wizard will do it. And at the same time, an Armored Knight for Asmadi.
Alright, so it looks like we get a good circle of Sharlock enemies just outside of our beginning zones here. So the players have to start choosing whether or not they want to keep grinding. Usually with Hurtmore, the decision is not to sit local and grind on the weaker enemies, because you want to start zapping the bigger ones just before Sharlock enemies. But right now, that's not really an option.
Yep, no healing, only a couple of herbs. I mean, it's... If you can find some... The Wyverns were nice, except for sleep. Magi Wyverns would be great. Droll Magi's. Something like that would be nice to find right now. Even the Goldman wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, zap a couple Goldmen and suddenly you got some decent armor.
Ooh, an Axe Knight, that's what we're looking for. With heal.
Well, with his attack power, he was pretty much going to have to double Hurtmore anyway, so I don't think that changed much. Did Asmadi stop spelled the Armored Knight, then ran away? That was an interesting strategy, but it worked. Oh, I see. When he stop spelled it, he ran below his magic. He couldn't cast Hurtmore twice, so he's pretty much out of luck there.
Yep, slim resources right now.
Interesting what little we've seen so far. It's quite possible that this continent isn't quite that big and they might get funneled through the swamp cave sooner than later.
Both runners about to hit level 7.
Alright, 6-3, 8-16. That's a very nice MP boost. Increases the hit points a little bit. They weren't too bad. That's a pretty good level overall.
Yep, 3 more Hurtmores, so next time you die, you'll have a good few now.
Yeah, that's a sort where you might consider... I mean, the hit points are still tight, but you buy some herbs here in Cantland, you might consider just checking that swamp tile to see if there's an Axe Knight or something really nice there. Actually, I say, or something really nice. Really, the only really nice thing would be the Axe Knight.
With the current stats, yeah. No sleep for a stone man, so that's no good. No flute for a golem. And the dragons, they're gonna kill you pretty quick.
Yeah, you could get lucky on a blue dragon, but it's not really a grind that you want.
Hey, a new town for Xarnax.
And it's coal! Nice. Well, let's see what was left at the pool. Let's see if they failed to clean it again. And yep, stones. Just stones of sunlight littering around the coal pool. One of our 3 key items, a good pickup.
Yeah, one less item to find. I kind of prefer to find the harp first, because then if you come across the trading cave, you have it already, but it's still an item.
Yep, it's probably better than the flute. Meanwhile, Asmadi has exited from the other side of the swamp cave and is showing off what the swamp continent looks like. I think Xarnax is about at the end of the exploration here. I don't know if there's any other place he could go than where he's going right now. But both of our players finding very good enemies in wolves here to fight. Still extremely good experience, probably up to level 9. And like Asmadi just punched it down, which just shows what he's capable of even without Hurtmore.
Yeah, you can kind of go either way there. Really, 2 to 3 attacks, 1 Hurtmore. But if you save your MP, you're likely to get more levels. But both of them get level 8 at the same time.
1893. The 9 for the hit points is pretty big, but otherwise it's somewhat forgettable. That's a good point. That is the second time in a row that they've gained levels at the exact same time. Pretty much keeping up with their exploration, still grinding every step they go.
Xarnax sticking around Cole probably will soon need more MP. Doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah, that's the blue dragon is generally just kind of gross. It's rare that you're excited to see a blue dragon for anything.
Is this another new town? It is Hawksness. With Hurtmore, not a bad idea to check it out. Oh, but no MP either, so maybe just a research here.
Yeah, he's out of resources. He's basically dead. Might as well just do a tile check really quick just to see what we got. Or if the wolf lets him.
Ah, the blue. Oh, and an excellent move. Too bad it wasn't quite enough.
Right, a blue dragon, I mean, there's better options. It's not a red. You could try to hurt more to death, but with these hit points and no heal spells, you're kind of out of luck. And Xarnax also needs the end with the blue dragon.
You know, if that blue happened to have stop spell or something like that, and he got another excellent move.
For curiosity, did Xarnax check, where did he find that blue dragon at? I didn't see.
Was in the overworld, I believe.
Alright, I thought the screen was black all around there, but maybe I...
Oh, perhaps so.
Asmadi's got his keys now, and he's going to check a tablet cave underneath here and find the death necklace. Does not have outside, so that's going to be disappointing for him.
Right, and you can't grind in here because there's no enemies to be seen, so you just walk in and out.
Yeah, a good old tablet cave walk. Just gives you some time to think about life and all of the mistakes that you've made.
This will give Xarnax a little bit of a chance to get ahead in experience, but probably not enough to make any real difference.
Yeah, and it's nice that Erdrick, our ancestor, left us the death necklace inside of this long, windy cave. Erdrick had to be a little bit of a jokester, I think.
Level 9, 15 power, 2 speed, 2 hit points, 4 magic, and a new spell of Outside.
Asmadi could have used that just a moment ago, but that's all good. Xarnax really wanted to hurt more of that Armored Knight, but getting ambushed, you don't really have much of a choice of what you can do there.
Gonna finally buy some armor. Starts with the leather armor. And a small shield. And that's it. No bamboo pole. I'm disappointed. Although I don't even know if one was there.
There was a club, which is like a bamboo pole, but fatter.
Well, seeing as it was a club, I'll forgive him for not buying anything.
Yeah, we see Xarnax not a fan of the club. Asmadi did go to the club, get the club, and then had a bad time and had to start over. So we did have some equipment before, and the werewolf withstands the hurt more and just strikes back really hard, and Asmadi gets sent home.
Yeah, those enemies still pretty strong right now with their current defense total. Still, it's only about a 50% chance to withstand the hurt more.
Yeah, I would say werewolves are one of the enemies you want to see right now. Werewolves, axe knights, magic wyverns, that sort of thing.
Xarnax casts a hurt more. It doesn't kill him, but does have hurt and takes it out with that.
Yeah, sometimes hurt's valuable even when you have hurt more.
Especially with low MP totals. Xarnax is headed back to Cole, I would say, looking for the large shield.
Yeah, I was heading back there. I would have been really tempted to just nuke that gold man. And now you have an armored knight that could still one-shot you. Kind of scary. And Asmadi stop spelling the stop spelling armored knight. That's great.
There's definitely a strategy to it because Xarnax just died after he got stop spelled and couldn't cast the second Hurtmore.
He tried to use all of his resources before he went back, and it wasn't enough.
Oh, the Edric sword. Is this Mountain Cave? I think it is.
Big pickup. Got some real strength already in the seed, and now he could do some damage to the Dragon Lord already if he wanted to.
Dies to the Armored Knight now, though, so he'll probably head back shortly. Level 10 for Xarnax, 2, 11, 20, 0 something. And a new spell of Healmore.
Yeah, that was a 0 strength, but we already had a decent amount of strength so far, so not surprising. But Healmore extends the ability to explore here. The MP 63, pretty good. So this is a fairly balanced affair so far. Hit points are still a little bit slow. Never know when a DL2 breath enemy is going to take you out, but otherwise it's pretty good for exploration.
I am right in saying there was a large shield in coal, right?
I seem to think so.
You had the gold there for it that time and bypassed it again. Could be saving up for something else, I'm not sure.
Asmadi almost got the cold, but met that armored knight that took Xarnax in, and it took care of him as well. Asmadi going straight to Cantlin, checking herbs. Could we have a coordinates check here?
It's too bad. One more level would have gotten him heal more. Yeah, much easier time getting through.
Well, sometimes it just works out that way, I suppose. You do tablet, and the next level you get outside. And nope, no, never mind. I was just thinking directly there. It seemed like it might be an option, but not worried about the coordinates just yet.
So in reality, we've only found one curse belt so far. And Cole did have something, not that Asmadi knows that. So, really no need to check the coordinates yet, I guess, but certainly with keys, and it's right there, I probably would anyway.
Well, Xarnax found Garanham. With key access, opens up quite a few things. You got another town with another shop. You got 3 chests inside here, and whatever is underneath. And we still have quite a few caves still left for grabs.
Asmadi now picking up level 10 and then a heal more.
So I think we have both of our trading caves left and the grave, is that correct?
And Stone's Cave?
Right, yeah, I don't think we've seen that either, so... And we find Token in Garanham, nice.
2 of 3 items. And we have the grave. 5 more chests in here, 2 behind a key, 3 free to get. Assuming you can get through this Armored Knight.
Armored Knight has the Hurt More fail, then it stops spells you, and now it just attacks, and you have to hope for your agility, and no, it doesn't work out.
And Asmadi finally got the coal and picked up his stones.
It is a good point. Right now, Xarnax could do a gold grind. He's going right in. I imagine that is what he's doing, assuming he remembers which chest it is, but he's definitely in position to do it. And we had Cantlin next door, so there's a whole bunch of stuff that he could buy there. Now, part of this time is going to be him. I believe there was a flame sword, which, if we know from where Asmadi has been, it isn't really necessary if you can get to that mountain cave, but it'll definitely help him with what he can see right now. Then again, he may not worry about the sword since you have hurt more, and that's 90% of your offense normally is going to be that anyway.
Yeah, it's kind of a toss-up on the sword there. Maybe get enough for Broad if it was there, but that's about it.
Well, it looks like Asmadi is moving on past Cole. I believe, was it Granham was around here just a little way, so he might catch up in exploration on the main continent here in just a moment. And it might be in the back of Asmadi's mind as well, like when you see that silver in Cantlin and it's so close, that maybe you don't worry about your shield so much, because again, we think Large is there in Cole, but he might not be worrying about it because he's planning on getting the silver at some point anyway.
Xarnax went up to the full 32,000, so he wants all 3 items. Surprised he's not saving, but it's fairly close, so it shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, I don't think there's any armored knights between here and there, just a sleepy metal scorpion. That would have been entertaining if a defense broken metal scorpion put him to sleep and took care of him.
11 power, 6 hit points, 3 magic on level 11.
Our strength is green. We can do a ton of damage to the Dragon Lord right now. Unfortunately, there's not much else we could do to him.
And Xarnax finds the flame sword, so it has the best weapons and armor that money can buy.
Yeah, talking about overworld survivability, at this point he should be able to go anywhere he wants. And, outside of some poorly timed DL2 breath, should be able to just complete the exploration, which right now he's a little bit behind compared to Asmadi.
Right, still needs to find Mountain Cave and get Erdrick's sword and whatever else is in there.
That's a good point. Nobody has struck the coordinates yet. They're just right here in Cantlin. It'd be really be one of those things that, as time goes on, you think, well, what if this is like a single-digit search and it's the armor? You don't want to dig on that, but that would bug me after a little while.
Well, we've certainly seen a 0-0 before, so that's always fun. No coordinates.
Yep, not 0-0, just nothing. Looks like they forgot to hide whatever it was they were supposed to hide.
Why am I not surprised, Synth?
Right. Well, the sole reward we had at the top of grade was a dragon scale that Asmadi equipped. Otherwise, I think we had gold and a key. Nothing too interesting.
Yeah, that makes sense. Perfect coordinates.
So. Alright, Xarnax getting through and finding Hawksness. He's in a little bit better position. He's used up quite a bit of his magic, so I'm not sure if he'll be able to get through this blue dragon. But with 107 AP, probably will try it. And we'll see our last search spot check. At this point, I think we only have whatever's left in the mountain. I don't know if we full cleared that. And what Asmadi is trying to do right now at the bottom of Grave.
I think we've only seen the top chest in Mountain, but I could be wrong on that.
He's got two heal mores against this blue dragon. He's going for hurt more strats. And the first one lands, so that definitely makes this a lot more viable, even if you don't, just physically fighting. It sounds pretty good, and clears it out, and let's see what Hawksness has, except for now he's getting level 11.
Not much of a level, but we've got the silver harp, so all items are found.
Yeah, now just to find where you have to take them.
Herb in the 4th chest in the grave. So I can see Xarnax not diving the grave, but he really does need to find Mountain.
Yep, absolutely. And what this is looking like now, we have, I think, 2 checks left. No, 3 because we haven't found Remolder yet. 3 chest checks yet for that armor, and not. It's going to be in Sharlock.
112, 1, 1, 12, and 4. Your stats on level 12 and the spell of sleep.
The hit points are finally coming. That was the stat I was worried was going to be lagging. Right now, it looks like agility is a little bit low. Agility with low hit points makes Sharlock pretty scary.
Yeah, one of the reasons I run Strength Agility Seed. I find you're usually a bit better to run, or at least have better defense going through Sharlock.
Yeah, Asmadi is definitely in control right now with this grave dive. It looks like he will be able to clear it out. I might be jinxing a little bit, getting ahead of himself, but he's done very well to get this far. I think Xarnax got crippled right away from an Armored Knight. And now, yeah, Xarnax going back through to continue that swamp, and Asmadi finds gold. So we're looking for, I think, Stone's Cave and Remolder as our last checks that we have not seen.
Yep, grave turned out to be a little disappointing. But that's okay, I doubt Xarnax will actually dive it anyway.
Well, he did get that dragon scale, which, you know, helped make up for the time when he tried to buy it earlier and couldn't because he had filled his inventory with fairy water.
I don't think we have seen Sharlock yet.
Yeah, at some point you do have to find Sharlock, I suppose. Although there's no rush, I guess.
I don't know, I find it kind of concerning after, you know, you're level 13, 14, you've got all the go stats, then you realize, oh, I've got go, but I don't know where to go.
Yeah, it looks like right now both of them have just settled into exploration mode. I don't believe there's any excellent grind. We saw the blue dragon. I think it was blue dragons on both spots. I don't remember if we checked the coordinates, or excuse me, the swamp cave for sure. And was that Asmadi just found the jerk cave?
It was indeed. And I believe Xarnax has seen that already?
I hadn't seen anyone go down through here yet, but it's easy to lose track of exploration.
So Xarnax with the slight equipment lead, while better gear and all 3 items. Asmadi's ahead on leveling, but is still missing his harp.
So I keep neglecting Mountain, but Asmadi is not going after it, so it leaves me to think that maybe he doesn't, or maybe he did full clear it.
It is a possibility. I know he died the first time he was in there to an Armored Knight. I don't remember him going back.
He's managed to get quite a bit of gold, but not silver shield gold, and unfortunately, Gurnham doesn't sell anything else except for that. I mean, that would be interesting.
Apparently Asmadi has 2 chests in the mountain.
Thanks, Schmite.
The first, of course, being Erdrick's sword.
And Xarnax has not seen it yet, or else he would probably prioritize that. It's pretty hard when there is. Oh, look, there's a town, but we know what town that is, right? Or do we? I don't. That's probably Remolder. I don't remember seeing that before. And Remolder does have one chest, so there is something that could be there. It's home of the 2-key lottery. Asmadi sees it too, so I wonder if both of them might try to head over that direction since this area they're in is a dead end.
Not bothering with the Goldman anymore. I guess doesn't want much more.
Yeah, he just bails out of that situation entirely. He has a decent amount of money. He's probably hoping to get some good armor right now, maybe a large shield, and not worry about it anymore.
Going for full plate and large by the look of it.
Yeah, that's good enough to carry you. Oh, no, he's skipping the large. That's, maybe he didn't notice it was there, or... I guess, well, now we get to see the coordinates check for Asmadi. This will obviously show up the exact same quality that Xarnax's check was, which was somewhere around Bupkis.
Somewhere on the imaginary plane.
Sorry, but the coordinates are in another castle.
I'm gonna lose half of that gold by warping out.
Think of all the goldmen that sacrificed their lives for that money, and he just threw it away like that. Alright, and it looks like he's going back to Mountain. That's what this is, correct? And imagine if both the sword and armor were in the mountain cave, and Xarnax, that has eluded him the entire race so far. That would be a painful thing to come across at the end.
Yeah, and it's not that far away from home either. I believe it's just north of where he is now. And we have a torch, we have a werewolf.
Xarnax is going after that red dragon only to find that it has sleep. Wonderful. It's like the least enemy that you want to see have sleep.
Yep, baby Wombo there would sleep and hurt more. Not looking good for Sherlock.
Yeah, especially seeing that stop spell he threw out fail. That's a scary thing to find.
The magic key. One chest left in Mountain now.
Xarnax, again, I think going east from the palace, he's so close to where he needs to go to find the mountain cave. It just hasn't quite put it together yet.
Level 13 here. 1 power, 10 speed, 3 hit points, 5 magic or spell of heal.
Just inching closer to go mode stats. But that strength being so high is very nice. And it's a cursed belt, which doesn't help us right now.
Well, that's our 2, and we already knew it anyway. Well, at least we did.
I think, is there much other areas that we haven't fully explored yet? And hey, Xarnax is in Mountain. Hooray!
Yep, all he really needs out of here is Erdrick's sword. Might get there with these armored knights.
That's right. Asmadi has not went back to Hawksnest, hasn't done much on the second continent since the first run, and gets slept hurt more by this Wraith Knight. But I think his exploration was done over here anyway. hey, a fighter's ring. You know, when you already have 92 strength and it's still not enough.
Well, you never know when that extra 2 strength is actually going to make a difference. It has won races, I'm sure.
Well, absolutely. Do not mean to discount the fighter's ring, but it's fun to find it when we have this much attack already.
For sure, more for the Dragon Lord than anything else. Right now, it's just a little bonus.
All right, what was that town he just walked by? I can't remember it. Must be Breckenary, because if I can't remember what a town is, it's probably something unimportant, like Breckenary.
Yay.
Alright, finds a dead end. Love those rivers that you think you're going somewhere. Oh, nope, there's a river and it's a dead end. Wonderful aspect of this game, just to keep the territory from being all connected.
Xarnax picks up level 13, not long before you'll find the sword.
Yep, he did the, there's 2 different ways people go through mountain caves. Some of them prioritize the 2 chests in the corner. Some of them go straight down first. And there he finds Erdrick's sword. Nice. So, but he is a little bit low on resources, so maybe that was his thinking. He might get got by an armor knight or something.
Well, there's 2 ways of looking at it. Usually the chest on the bottom is closer. So if there's hard enemies, you can get that one, but there's 2 chests up top. So if you make it that far, you're more likely to get 2 items instead of 1. So it's kind of a toss-up.
Right. I think, I always do it one way. I never even think about it, but I'm sure everyone's got their own set, and it's likely like a difference of 2 steps or something when you really go down to it.
Yeah, it's not much at all. Xarnax doing a death warp here by the look of it. Yep.
I like that he threw up repel while he was doing it. Like, doesn't even want to be bothered, while he's dying. He just wants to die.
Let me die in peace.
So we got the harp. So what is outstanding right now? We have Remolder that we have not found. We have, I believe, the Stones Cave is still open. Sharlock is somewhere. And what else?
The Staff of Rain Cave?
Right, the Staff of Rain Cave. So it's all exploration at this point. Although Asmadi, I think, is just gonna take care of this blue dragon and probably end his run over here at this point. And hey, it's Sharlock!
Woohoo!
And I guess we haven't seen Breckenary, but I mean,
meh. Hey, cave. And a town. It's probably Breckenary.
I mean, considering how long this has been, you kind of aren't surprised that it's all on top of each other.
Having that town there too, we know it's a healing town, so it's not bad if you want to grind in Sharlock.
Oh yeah, which might be the best thing. I don't know. Asmadi's having some fun with the blue dragon. With his excellent attack power, it's certainly carrying weight. And we have Remolder, so we'll hit this chest check, and this leaves 1 left after this.
The gold.
And immediately out. I wonder, was that all the exploration down there, or did... That was curious.
He got the staff, he knows where the jerk is, so he's going for the rainbow drop, I would think.
Ah, okay. So I guess he's just going to clean that portion up and move along.
Any snail saying Breckenary is going to bust the seat open 100%. Well, with the new randomizer McGrew was working on, there can be a chest or 2 in Breckenary. So at some point, that may make a difference. Looks like we have some buffering here for Xarnax.
Uh-oh. No, it looks like he's back. We just gotta let Twitch. We gotta pay our dues to Twitch here real quick. This advertisement. Um, yeah, I'll let you read it. I won't go over what it says.
There we go. Enjoy the Canadian ads. That was probably American anyway.
Yes, please make sure to put your children in a booster seat and wear a seatbelt. I believe that's what that was about. Oh, Xarnax, is he full clear grave yet? I don't think he has, so he's going back in to do that now.
Maybe he wants the armor first. Of course, it's not down there, but he doesn't know that. Ooh, green dragons with some DL2 breath.
I didn't see where Asmadi was. Was he in that Sharlock area, or was he just east of, what town was that anymore? I don't remember what town it was.
I think he was right outside the staff cave. So yeah, the Sherlock area. Oh, apparently near Cole. I was wrong.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, which I don't remember exactly how he got to Sharlock. I think he's going in that direction, though. Like, I think west here, like, if he hangs a right, that's where Sharlock is, correct?
Sherlock is to the east, but I'm not sure from where. Could be this way.
Anyway, I think we missed level 14, and what we got there was 35 hit points. So Asmadi is almost in Go mode stats right now. Just unfortunately doesn't have the rest of Go mode.
Definitely needs a little more defense. 61 is way too low. So you'd want to pick up the large shield for sure. And could preferably use a little more MP, but not too much more.
Alright, he sees Sharlock, he's onto it. We know down here there's Remolder, which doesn't really have anything. And, well, he has some money. Maybe he'll go ahead and buy one of those. You think if he was going to do a gold grind, he would have done it already, so...
Does have enough for the large shield if it is here in Mulder. But first, the staff.
Alright, yeah, with the harp, I'll teach you how to make it rain, and then you go get the raindrop, and you're all ready for Sharlock. But that, if I remember right, that raindrop cave is nowhere close.
That's far west somewhere, I believe. No large shield here.
EMP there with the Comes the Rain Again reference. Put a different song into my head. I almost started singing Staff of Rain, Hallelujah.
Newbie, which audio is low? I can boost it all.
No, we're good, we're good. Look at that small connector. Okay, guys, and it's not just a small connector. It's always fun when there's just a little piece of land and there's a gigantic portion of land on the other side. Like, and there's still all of this stuff that hasn't been explored, and you think these players are like, we've seen everything, haven't we? And nope, there's still plenty down here.
Xarnax finds his gold, it's going to warp out, and probably head straight for the Rainbow Drop Cave.
Right, and I imagine Asmadi is still looking for that one cave, which, I mean, just missing the Stones Cave. If the armor is in there and they do not attempt to look for it, that is very, very big.
Oh, another cave up here. I don't think I've seen this one. Hey, it's a Stones Cave. With a fairy water.
Alright, armor and Sharlock. Everyone gets really excited for that.
Oh, if armor had been there, that would have been so good for Asmadi. So far out of the way.
Yeah, because, I mean, Xarnax might have just not tried to find it and dig Sharlock just on the odds, and that would have been terrible for him. As it looks like Asmadi's heading down to get the raindrop as well. Again, we're still looking at that small shield and just thinking that's not enough.
So right now we have Asmadi with about a 600, well, 400 now experience lead. But Xarnax has much better gear for going down through Sharlock. So, still kind of anyone's game at the moment.
Yeah, and depending on how many levels we have to still grind to get there and where exactly they are is going to impact a lot of things because, I mean, right now Xarnax is grinding on that blue dragon, and that looks like it's their best grind, unless Sharlock has a bunch of really easy to fight enemies right on that first floor. But with this attack power, blue dragon's not scary.
No, blue dragons are fine now. Should be killing him in, what, 2-3 hits?
Yeah, that seems to be about the math. The issue, the only real issue I have with the small shield is that agility is low. Now, if you get a big agility boost, once you're into the mid to high 70s DP, it doesn't really matter. But even with Erdrick's armor, when he finds that 75, it's a little scary.
Yeah, 75 is a little bit low. Like you said, high 70s, low 80s. You usually go with 86 is the target we want, which makes the physicals the same max as the Dragonlord 2 Breath, of course.
Yeah, there's another interesting thing to kind of tie in here as well. If the next level gives a bunch of hit points, that could be go mode, but Xarnax has not went back into the tablet to get the death necklace. He knows it's there, so that might be a little bit of a side trip that he has to take, if that happens.
Yeah, it's much quicker for him to get it now because he has outside as well.
Yeah, this might be the walk to try to find it. It looks like he's not going to put any effort into trying to find that Stone's Cave. He's just going to dig Sharlock for the armor. This is not a get and fight. You know, at the end, he's just going to try to survive this, fight what he can fight, and get that armor and get out.
Red Dragon's on the top floor, going to fight his way through him. Needs 15 anyway, so why not?
And hey, remember the red dragons who have sleep?
Whoops.
You see an enemy like that and you think an hour in, hey, all we need is the armor. But guess what? Like, with what we see, with the stats being the way they are, there's a chance this could take another half an hour or so.
With current HP, this would have been a good candidate for strength agility, I think.
Yeah, anytime you have this like bad of agility, that's what you kind of default to. It's like, I wonder if strength agility would have been better.
Yeah, but an hour in, you really can't go back.
No, I mean, you got all the knowledge of where things are. You know, Hurtmore's coming too, but you probably don't want to reset. Yeah, level 14 did give us a bit of agility. Hey, 50% sleep, 75% hurt more. That wouldn't be so bad, except, well, he does have the magic armor, so he is cutting into that hurt more range. Asmadi, when he attempts this, is going to have a little bit more pain.
For sure. Also, of course, with that magic armor, you're gaining a little bit of HP back on your way down. Not a whole lot, but enough to maybe make a little difference on healing.
Is this the third time that Xarnax has been ambushed, slept by a red dragon in the first floor here?
I believe it is.
Yeah, that's just unpleasant. Now Asmadi's going. We'll get to see if he gets the same sort of luck in what could be a 40% red dragon first floor.
Asmadi's still a little head on experience. Only been a red dragon and a half. And Hero walks through most of it.
That's the scariest part about the red dragons here, is that they might just be their whole element here just makes them incredibly random.
Oop, I think that's on my end.
Okay, I thought my internet went out for a second.
No, I started dropping frames. Should be back shortly.
Yeah, Asmadi entered Charlock 2 minutes after Xarnax and is about 15 seconds behind right now. Oh yeah, right now Xarnax is basically just trying to do a hero run. Probably going to go straight for the... I wouldn't be surprised if he goes straight for the judges table there as the quickest thing to get to. And just hope that he's able to extend this to get it and not have to worry about this for a little while.
3 power, 2 speed, 15 hit points, 7 magic.
Yeah, and there's our death necklace. So hopefully he realizes that he doesn't have it. It could be pretty hard to remember that an hour ago when you decided to reset because there wasn't much use, 2 minutes into the seed.
Yeah, using that death necklace now will keep you a little over 100 HP, I believe. So you still have your chance at doubles. And would boost your attack far enough that the MP level would probably be fine.
Yeah, 147 you'd be a favorite, but my gosh, do you have any hope of getting down there without using heal wars? Asmadi might, since he's been pretty, hasn't had the worst walk yet.
And enjoy some more ads.
All right, and see, Asmadi is going to be in the room of choice here in a moment, where do you decide to prioritize the one item judges table for what I would consider to be against odds, but as a sort of a meta play, or do you run? But you could also get it because you're planning on getting them all anyway, or do you just go ahead and dive deep and play the odds there?
He's going deep. Has bypassed Xarnax, is 2 floors past him now.
Yeah, he is definitely had the better run of it, and oh, nice. Yeah, the Armor Knights right now are actually really easy to fight. I think I would fight them instead of trying to run, because they're just stop spelling me like crazy.
Right, but Xarnax is down to 1 MP and wants to save every fight he can.
Right, I was thinking more about what Asmadi was doing. Let's see, where does Xarnax go? He's going to the judges table, so
No surprise.
Here we go. Yeah, this is the quicker option when you have no resources like he does. That makes sense. And we'll get to see what both things are at the same time.
Oh, it's in the table.
Oh, that's gonna hurt Asmadi here. He's gonna check all these spots and see nothing. But he can still, he has enough resources. He should be able to go back out and still get it, or at least have a good shot too.
Yeah, he should be able to get back down and get it. Xarnax has to leave now anyway. Doesn't have the MP to cast outside, so just fight your way through until you die, I guess.
Yeah, and with what he's seen, I imagine he's going to take another level because This is really tight. Plus, we know he still has to get the Death Necklace.
If he wants it. It's not strictly necessary, I guess, but certainly will be a help. Hey, a fairy flute.
So whoever bid on the $300 square gets a free fairy flute.
I.e. a $2 recorder from the dollar store.
We can already kind of sense where Asmadi is thinking with the experience and the levels, because he is continuing to fight here when he can and is still getting experience. Xarnax, on the other hand, hasn't taken too many enemies, so he might still try to dive here.
I think a dive is the right play now. Assuming he can make his way down with all his MP intact. Well, you've got 2 MP to kill, or 3 really. Then it's a pretty good shot.
And you could even think that if you have to burn a couple heal mores trying to get through red dragons, just warp out and try again. There's a town nearby. It's better than dying.
Lorgon saying probably around a 50% shot to win here.
Again, I want to point out, just to be clear, he does have a lot of hit points and the defense is pretty decent, so he's got those doubles, but he does not have the Death Necklace, so if that was in his mind, that would be a bit of a problem.
You are right there, Varchild. Xarnax can cast 1 heal spell. Or a Radiant if he prefers. Unfortunately, being taken by the red dragon. Put to sleep, can't run, hurt Mord, and gets away.
Meanwhile, Asmadi gets the armor, immediately casting outside here. Maybe. I think he wants to die. He wants to get sent back. That's interesting. I guess the nearby town was Remolder, correct? So there isn't an item shop there. If he wants to get back to herbs, he's not going to do much. And hey, throwing torches at the green dragon, that's rude.
Making some room in his inventory, I guess. Maybe he wants some fairy water as well. Although at 137 AP, fairy water is not really useful.
Yeah, and the defense power there isn't doing much for him either, so... yep, he is out and goes all the way back. I imagine he's going to stop in at Cantlin and restock those herbs before he makes his dive.
1700 experience, I'd almost fight him away over, and if the enemies are right, you could have level 16 before you get there.
That was an interesting option there. Schmike could have, if he really wanted to, he could have done a very quick gold grind there and got the silver shield. 74 defense would scare me. Meanwhile, Xarnax, again, the Charlock looks scary with the reds, but the red dragons, but it's just them. The armored knights aren't super scary because you can pretty much smash through them with their heavy stop spell. You know, and Asmadi's just going directly back in, not worrying about it at all. So the herbs or whatever, he's trying to win this. He's not concerned about losing a little, those little herbs or whatever.
Now, Xarnax, again buffering, but has already burnt a Healmore, is down to the 3rd last floor, but it's already lost 1 Healmore now, so it's down to 9.
And 75 MP, you can still win with that without the Death Necklace. You have a decent chance at a double. I mean, the defense isn't anything special, but with 130 some hit points, it's more about whether or not he decides to attack twice in a row and how heavy your heal mores can land.
Working on getting Xarnax back. I'm dropping a few frames again, though. Gonna try to get away from the ads this time. Which doesn't seem to be working.
Well, I don't know. Somebody needs to gift our restreamer Twitch Turbo right now, I think. And well, we get to see what happened to Xarnax. He apparently did not survive his run.
Looks like I'm having some internet issues tonight. Sorry about this, guys.
No, I checked on Xarnax myself, and his whole thing was down for a minute there, so I don't think that was on you.
No, I'm dropping frames too, so...
But yeah, now with that run out, Asmadi is now in the pole position here. Has not lost a heal more yet, so he has the 10. He has the Death Necklace if he chooses to use it. He doesn't actually need to. Searches the stairs, finds nothing, and is just about done with Zone 2. If I recall right, I think our Zone 3 was a little bit nicer. Zone 1 was really ugly, and Zone 2, I think, had a red dragon as well. But now it's, I don't think I saw any reds in Zone 3 before.
Oh, no.
Alright, Asmadi blowing the flute for us, getting away from this golem. And yeah, you know, I was very skeptical about level 15 being Gomo just because of how dangerous Charlock seemed, but Asmadi is able to get through that really dangerous first floor, and I mean, it's not like these enemies are easy to deal with either, but it's about as easy as Charlock gets right now, I think.
Yeah, he's having a pretty easy time getting down through, for sure.
And that's the danger of you know, squeezing through Charlock with you know, barely on level to do it. That Charlock can be really difficult, and that just throws a giant RNG mess here at the end. But Xarnax is now on his second official dive. Asmadi still on his first, and be coming up to this grind spot here in just a moment.
It's an X Knight, not a big deal or a big issue for him.
Yeah, if he had a little bit more experience, I think some players would just grind on this guy to finish it up, too. Best grind spot we've seen this race.
Not quite close enough now to worry about it, but had he been closer to 9750, sure.
And the Golem is not letting him go. The Golem is the easiest enemy to run from here, but 69 agility is just not that nice, actually.
Okay, we have ourselves a Dragon Lord fight.
Yeah, threw down a heal more before. We'll see if he decides to just go with it or if he's going to throw on the Death Necklace. I would say the odds are slightly better with it, and he does. But this high attack power will make for a somewhat random fight at the end here. And he is out of herbs and no extra heals, so going into DL2 a little bit weaker than you would like, and still gets the first attack.
Yep, managed to get an attack in, so not a double like you'd want, but still. And Xarnax not far behind, is rounding the last floor now.
Alright, got a 13 on the first, a 14 on a second, and the third attack here is 17. That makes for, what, 44?
Sorry, I'm not paying attention at the moment.
63. Still should be in good position. Should have enough attacks to finish this off. That, ooh, 51, and that is a danger zone. But he's able to survive it. And lucky attack there after a weak Healmore. I mean, you have to take the odds that Asmadi's playing right now, but it's still scary to see.
Two Healmores left.
And another really weak attack. I've lost track of the count, but it is not rolling high right now.
Oregon saying he did put on the death necklace.
Yeah, he should be doing, what is that, 12 to 23, and it's not how it's working out. It's a whole bunch of 12s.
But manages it on the last swing.
Yes, GG manages to get that. I think that was 2 extra swings over odds, but finishes it off and should walk away with this game.
So Asmadi finishes as Xarnax is starting his Dragonlord fight. Not that much of a difference.
And the official time is 1 hour, 17 minutes, and 9 seconds. GG to Asmadi. Comes out of the 2 and 3 group, manages to qualify, and then wins the first round match.
And we have 2 admins knocked out in 2 days. Yeah, 2 admins in 2 days get knocked out of the brackets. Wow.
I mean, there were a lot of different points in that race where they took different options. Asmadi had some really good exploration early, but I think ultimately it came down to what Sharlock did, and he got through where Xarnax was not able to. Had some really good exploration early. All right, meanwhile, Xarnax is continuing to plug away at the Dragon Lord here. Did not get the Death Necklace, has just been attacking normally. I think his rolls have been a little bit better, but he did need a double, like he just got there. I believe he's still ahead as far as that goes and should be able to finish this up.
Oh yeah, should be no problem to finish this fight now.
And throwing out the sleep just for fun. I think he knows it's under control, or he is just having some fun memeing here at the end.
Never don't meme.
GG.
GG. I am sure glad Sharlock was fairly clean, because that apparently was pretty close. Also, the first 10 minutes might have been the worst Dragon Warrior I have ever played in my life.
I feel you there.
Let's just put on the curse belt and put a cap on top of a disaster of 10 minutes. GG's to Xarnax. Wow, that was close.
Yeah, there was. You guys never had much separation throughout the entire race, and in what you were talking about in the middle, I think, watching this back, you'll see there was a lot of, should I do this? Should I do that? From both of you about how to do that start.
I mean, I assume he had to be ahead after the first few minutes when I literally reset. What was it, 9 minutes in?
He had some really bad
Did
luck.
he do the same thing?
Killing anything.
Okay.
Yeah, he got hurt more. He got more before you, technically, since you reset, but not very much before.
Jesus. Yeah, I was like, the only way this play hilariously fails is if Hurtmore is at level 2. And I'm like, there's no way that's going to happen. That's impossible. Hurtmore would never be at level 2. Hurtmore was at level 2. I did not mean to put on the cursed belt for reference. That was an accident. And,
We figured.
I was like, oh my god. I needed to reset anyways, so it wasn't a big deal. But whatever.
So you're saying it was a planned curse belt equip because you were going to reset anyway and just wanted to scare us all.
I thought I was being incredibly clever. I maxed out fairy waters. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get these scorpions and metal scorpions. Nobody else will ever think of this plan. Hello, Hurtmore. Oh, good. You're here. The end.
I mean, to be fair, you only had 2 casts, so fairy water wasn't a bad idea.
No, and like I was, my actual assumption was that I was gonna walk into Cantlin, and then I was like, ooh, 2 stores. One of these has to have a weapon. No, none of that. We don't have weapons here. It's hilarious. Yeah, that was wild.
It was a good race. I think at least 3 times you guys leveled simultaneously.
Really?
So for the first hour for sure, or 45 minutes even, you were pretty much dead on experience.
Yeah,
and
I felt,
after a while,
yeah.
you did go ahead.
I felt behind a while, and then I had like that really good dive of grave. When I found the sword, I was feeling good. Like I was like, there's a fair chance somebody else doesn't go to the sword because it's in a crappy place, dungeons, full of, I forget what was in there, but it wasn't pleasant. There were armored knights on the first floor. Yeah. And I think that was nice because that definitely helped a lot.
You did have the sword a long time before Xarnax managed to pick it up.
Oh. I also see he ground for a silver shield, which I decided not to do and really struggled with, but I was like, surely the agility will show up later. Spoiler, the agility did not show up later.
So Xarnax actually went for the full combo, had the silver, the magic, and the flame.
Oh boy. I didn't get the half plate. I got the full plate eventually, so that was kind of good.
Speaking of Xarnax, GG.
I think he's still muted. Oh no. Well, something.
Probably just trying to get settings right on his phone.
Thank you.
There he
Welcome
is.
back. GG's.
You too. I lost that race in the first 10 minutes.
No, I lost that first in the 10 minutes. Apparently, we both screwed it up pretty badly.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw Shylock, I knew I had a chance, and when I kept dying in Shylock, I knew I had a very slim chance.
Yeah,
But,
so about 9 minutes into the race, I put on a cursed belt and reset because I had screwed up.
Oh, so okay. So I think you probably lost less time than I did.
Okay.
My
Battle of the early
well,
disaster.
maybe not. I got level 2 at 8 minutes. My my huge mistake was like those starts when you have a key and you got all those things to check.
I know.
I'm no good with
excited.
those.
I was so excited. I'm like, oh, we get to go outside the castle. It's going to be great. And then the treasury's like, here's money. And I'm like, suspicious.
Yeah.
Maybe there'll be a town nearby.
So I was slow to get through and make all those checks. But then the big mistake was after I was done with all that and started saying, okay, I'm going to save my key. Going to grind for 85 gold and then and then get on my way. When I started that grind, I forgot that the treasury had an herb, or the throne room had an herb. So I had that paired with just atrocious luck. I saw like a bunch of Magidrakes, scorpions, metal scorpions. I think it was like 5 minutes in when I saw my first Drakey.
The Drakeys were hiding. I was upset.
Yes. I saw my second. It was my second Drakey. I didn't see until 8 minutes in.
And either the scorpions or the metals had something rude.
The metal scorpions had sleep and hurt.
Yes, it wasn't terrible. It was just rude. And I'm like, I don't want to wait through this, guys. Knock it off. And then of course the armor's at the judges' table for banana's sake. Get out of here, game.
Yeah.
I went to the treasury first.
See, I did not, but only because I got past the second floor with 8 MP or 9 MP.
Mm-hmm.
So a
And
fun
so I
thing
figured,
there, Xarnax was in Sherlock first for his armor dive. Asmadi
Really?
passed you, Xarnax, but you
okay,
still got to the armor before him.
right.
Rip.
Oh man, how did uh did Asmadi have any failed dives thanks to Red Dragons?
What red dragons?
What?
Oh no. I
Wait,
think I
really?
saw one and I ran from it.
I got sleep locked by like 8 of
Oh
them.
jeez. No,
Which
I
is
don't
why
think.
you passed him in Sherlock.
Did I even see a red dragon on the overworld? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure
Oh
the
man,
only one I saw was right before the sword, and I ran from it first try.
that is absurd.
Yeah, because I was worried about reds if there was gonna be one on the spike or something, and it didn't show up. There's like 300 golems.
Yeah, I think they were like 50% sleep, 75% hurt more.
Oh, that's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
What was the? Let's show us some stats on these red dragons. What was their stop spell resist then? Good, bad, ugly, banana.
It was not 0.
It was
Well,
5.
5. Oh, that's not terrible. Oh, it is 50-75. Holy crap. Yeah, that's bad for business. I don't like
Mm-hmm.
it. Yeah, and then
Well, I mean,
yeah,
it helped you. They helped you out a lot, I
I
think.
guess so. uh, good thing this game is completely not randomized at all, and there's no RNG
Yeah,
feature.
I mean, it's really good that we at least get 5 weeks to get some meaningful seeds.
Hmm. Were there any metal slimes? Because I didn't see any of those.
I never saw one. I was
Okay.
using repel
Oh,
most
that's
of the
true.
seed.
Yeah, so was I. Uh,
A lot of hurt more targets.
yeah. Once we had MP.
Right.
Yeah, it was sort of like a grind as you go kind of seed. After I did Hawksness, I burned the rest of my MP on killing blue dragons. But that was the only time I sat and ground someplace, pretty much.
Okay.
That
I
was like
did a lot of
5 of them.
grinding. I tried to explore the main continent early, and after I had found uh, before I found Garenham, after I found Cole, I set
Hmm.
that desert above Cole. I just settled in there basically until I got heal more.
Mm. Yeah, I managed to explore the whole. Well, I found everything. I know where Breckenary is, but I didn't go there because I had already found everything else. And sorry, Breckenary. I saw it from across the river. I think, maybe. I don't know.
Breckenridge is the one town I never entered, but I think it was like on a south
Yeah,
coast of some
yeah. It should have been
land in there.
southwest of Rimmelder by my count.
That's not. Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, I only saw it from the other side.
Because I was exploring that continent looking for the Stones of Sunlight Cave, being like, "This is my last chance for armor," and then it was not there. That was sad.
Yeah, that was a really tricky. It was a tricky map to explore with the low MP
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of branches. I actually felt pretty good. I didn't retread too much ground, like re-explore, like forgetting where stuff was. There was just a lot of areas I had to walk through multiple times. Um, I think the only big time loss I had in exploration was um, forgetting or missing. I don't know which. The swamp just north of Tanagel that had the mountain cave in it.
Oh yeah.
Mountain Cave and Staff Cave were my last 2 locations, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess the whole Shylock area, Shylock, Grimildar, Staff Cave. I didn't see any of those until probably nearly an hour in.
Well, that's our rando.
It sure is. It was a fun seed.
It was a fun scene.
But a little. It's always a little less fun when you feel like you're 10 minutes behind right from the jump.
Yeah, I was feeling really bad early. Getting the sword reasonably early made me feel better, but I was like, "There's no
Oh man,
way."
what?
I didn't get it
I
that
didn't.
early, but once I had a few hurt mores, I was able to pick off an armored knight on the way down, in Mountain Cave. and that got me enough to get to the second floor. And I don't think they're running on the second floor.
Oh, right. I forgot where the sword was. Yeah, that's right, right next to
No,
start.
yeah.
And I like an hour in.
We were both 10 minutes behind, exactly.
I did have a flame sword, so
Yeah,
I mean, I was kind of hoping sword was in like bottom of grave
sure, yeah.
or something like that, because I was strongly considering just winning with flame sword.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we had a ton of attack power.
Exactly.
It was
But,
possible.
yeah, RNG did not roll my way. I felt like most of the middle of the seed went really well. But the beginning was just awful, and the end was just awful. And there's nothing you can do about that.
Yeah, I burned up all my bad luck during the first round because that was a terrible. Had a lot of bad seeds.
Yeah,
During,
and I mean, I
prelims.
did well enough after my mistakes to have won, but I mean, you absolutely didn't win. I definitely didn't play optimally at the beginning of the game, and I didn't deserve to win. So GG, man. Go win the tournament.
Yes, I will do that. I am going
Thank
to
you.
win the whole tournament.
That'll make me feel a little better.
Not going to win the whole tournament.
You could.
I guess I could, but I probably won't. What do I got? Oh, yeah. Okay, Lord, yeah. Keep rolling those seeds.
All right.
Oh, boy.
But every time you've rolled for him, he's won.
True. It's a big, it's actually a conspiracy. Nobody wins the tournament. Exactly.
So Xarnax, we were talking to Asmadi before you came in. I think there were 3 levels that you both got at the exact same time. One of them was level 7, the other 2 I don't remember. But as one of you would level, the other one would get the same level, same time.
That's awesome.
It's so fun.
So I guess when you were saying you're both 10 minutes behind, you were pretty much exactly 10 minutes behind.
So were you all just going nuts in chat while we're just messing up the basics of Dragon Warrior Randomizer for a solid 10 minutes?
I mean, it was really funny when you put on the curse belt, I will say that.
Oh my god.
I assume somebody in chat noticed that I had forgotten my herb.
Mm. Oh boy.
And then, you know, everything had sleep and hurt more, which was funny as well.
Yeah, that was a little rude early too.
I think at the beginning you guys were doing so many similar things but different, like testing it out, that it was just enough to keep track of what was going on. Like I think you, Asmadi, you went straight back in to turn the key. Xarnax went up and fought like a 8-round fight with a Magidrake and lost, and there was just so many small different things that were happening that were unfortunate all at the same time.
Use of time too. I took my first swing and I was like, I'm gonna have to get a crit to win this fight, but if I do, it'll be worth it. And I didn't, and I didn't expect to. And I mean, I knew I wanted to die. Just like that, my plan was to just get an encounter, die, and then save, so then I could use my keys. It didn't make sense to me to go back into the throne room first, because that's a few extra seconds of walking that I could actually be doing something productive. But it's probably a wash on that.
Yeah, I think the only thing from the beginning section that kind of lingered on was that you didn't go back and get the death necklace after you reset on it. And I kept thinking, I'm like, is that going to be necessary? Is he going to remember that he didn't get it?
Where was the death necklace? I forget.
Yeah, I did remember. I just didn't think it was going to be useful.
Death necklace.
And then it was
in the
suddenly
basement.
useful.
Well, no, I mean, like, even when I was diving, I guess.
Oh yeah, you didn't use it.
Possible.
Yeah, I used it and then I rolled terrible with it, so I think it was trapped or some sort of curse. And then I almost died to the Dragon Lord like 5 times.
Oh, jeez.
Well, I had to swing on 51 twice, and that was the top of his swing rate.
Oh yeah, large shield.
And I think I heal moored to 91 once. I was like, ugh. That's
yeah, you had one heal more that I think rolled at like afterward was like 92 or something, and then
Yeah,
got
and
lucky
I'm
that
like-
he did a physical.
Yeah, because I needed every swing, and that last one was a 22. Because
Oh, you did use the death necklace. Okay.
yes, I did.
Nice.
Which was probably not the right choice in the end. I also forgot to buy herbs going into the final dive. I only had 2. So
Yeah, we
mistakes
wondered
were
about
made.
that.
I
I-
skipped
this is
herbs
a
my
tradition.
first attempt. I just because I felt so behind. But
Yeah, I
the
realized
herbs
when I
didn't
used mine.
matter. It was the red dragon that killed me. I think. Oh man, I don't know if you guys even saw it. I think my stream was down when I died during that dive.
It
But
was,
I got slept at like 114 HP and never woke up.
Gross.
Mm-hmm.
Don't like it. All right, well, I suppose we should throw people to this other race that's going on, full of dragons and warriors.
That is the plan.
What a good plan. I'm glad I thought of it.
Oh yeah, thanks, Aaron, Cyberdark.
Yeah, great.
Didn't look who's restreaming and tracking yet. But thank
thanks
you
to everybody.
everyone helping out with the race.
Yep, so we have Lord of the Synth on tracking, we have Aaron and myself on comms, and of course I'm restreaming as well. And of course that was a race between Xarnax42 and AsmadiGames.
GG's, everybody. Have a good night.
Yeah,
GGG. It's been our pleasure.
Take us out, Aaron.
All right. Well, on behalf of CyberDark86, our restreamer, and my co-commentator, on behalf of Lord of the Synth, our tracker, our 2 runners, AsmadiGames and Xarnax42, I'm Aaron to you too. Thank you very much for watching, and let's go on and watch the last race of the night. Be safe and be well.